Welcome back. All right, so yes, this is the third game review of the day, which means there's a fourth coming up after this one. And honestly, I kind of enjoy doing it this way. Consider this getting ready for the playoffs, because in the playoffs, this is how it's going to work. Each game gets equal notice and all that, and of course, each series gets its own board. That happened last year in the playoffs, so for people who are newer subscribers, weren't around for the last playoffs, every series got its own board, and yeah, it went pretty well. It was actually quite enjoyable to have all that on the board. So 2 months from now, approximately, we'll be into the playoffs, and there you go. And today's Vegas LA game. Here's the thing. So the first period of this one overlapped in parts with the Tampa Bay Florida game, and the Tampa Bay Florida game was exciting, and there was a whole bunch of stuff going on in the early parts of this one. Not necessarily as exciting. I noted right away that Velarde down on the fourth line, so he's played his way down the lineup. The Kings' fourth line does play a lot, comparatively speaking, with some others. At least it feels that way. And it was Peterson against Fleury. Cal Peterson clearly likes playing against Marc-Andre Fleury, and he likes playing against the Vegas Golden Knights. I think he appreciates the challenge that they provide, and I think he had the best game of the season this year. Early play favored Vegas, but they weren't getting shots. So they weren't getting shots early on, but they did have a lot of puck control. Both teams also clogging up the neutral zone, and that would continue. So unlike the Florida-Tampa game where it's like, hey, go ahead, take your shot, this one was, we're going to make sure we take that shot away. It's not going to happen. McNabb takes a penalty, early Kings power play. That was killed off. There were a few good looks here and there, but it wasn't a great power play for the Kings. Then Marchessault hits a post. That goes out of play. With 9 minutes left in the first period, the shots were only 4 apiece. So again, it was kind of again, comparatively speaking with the other game it was on against. And then Brown had a blast that shot wide. The Kings were holding their own. This is right around where the other game ended. Both goalies with some big saves. Roy deflects a last-minute Marchessault shot. And Vegas did press in the final minute. So coming out of that first period, this is how Vegas plays. Vegas is not a 60-minute per game team. Generally, they're not. And they'll go through these quiet periods and they'll have their issues here and there, and then they'll just turn it on. And that is the only concern I have about the Vegas Golden Knights. Other than that, I really don't have any. Second period, they mentioned that Olli Maatta, who went out early in this game, was not going to return. And there were a couple of hits he took where that might have been where he got hurt, but they were down to 5 defensemen. Vegas didn't really take advantage of that today either. The Kings get an early press. Vegas shot blocking. Fleury also lucky when he misplayed the puck, that it didn't end up in the back of his net. It could have. It didn't. There's a similar incident in the Dallas-Nashville game I'm watching tonight, which is on the board for that one. Wagner and Kolesar then had a fight with the Kings in control of most of the first 5 minutes, and it felt like Kolesar was trying to fire his team up. And then Walker would score his first of the year from Moore and Kopitar at 5:58. A heavy press led to that goal, and then Vegas challenged it for goalie interference. And it was pretty obvious that this was not going to be a goal that came back. So that meant there was a power play for the LA Kings. And they score on that power play. So at 6:49, less than a minute later, Dustin Brown gets the goal from Iafallo and Kopitar, and the slap pass by Iafallo, a thing of beauty, and then Brown just deposits it into the net. So Brown gets the goal, but Iafallo full props for that goal. And then the Kings also taking the body. So it felt kind of like they were playing a Vegas-style game. Quick strike goals, they're playing the physical game, and just taking advantage of counterattacks and forcing the other team to make mistakes. Carrier then mishandled the puck, and Lizotte had a chance that was stopped, and the Kings pressured after that. So, again, that was one of those bobbles that almost ends up in their net. The Kings hem Vegas in their own end with 8 minutes left. This doesn't feel right? Well, and yet it kind of sort of does. So, there was a brief press for Vegas that draws a power play, and it felt like here it is. Here's the momentum shift. You wait for this in a Vegas game, for that momentum shift, and then they take over. So Smith had a shot that was stopped. The Kings cleared out, and then there was a prime shorthanded chance for Lizotte, which doesn't go, but they did kill off the power play. Vegas then goes right back to the power play. That's killed off as well. But again, you don't want to keep playing with fire, right? Athanasiou in the last minute had a chance, lost the puck. Fleury robbed him with 17 seconds left. So Athanasiou had a chance. He lost the puck, got it back, and then Fleury with the robbery. So we go to the third period. The Kings up 2-0. But it's Vegas, so you kind of expect them to come back. Vegas with a power play at 2:07. That was 3 in a row, and I put right there, playing with fire. Our ref then called a goal. And called a goal for Vegas, and they felt that it had crossed the line. Doughty knocks the net off. So they reviewed it, and it clearly showed the puck never entered the net, and that Doughty actually saved it and kept it out. You could hear when the referee was declaring a goal, you could hear Doughty yelling, "I saved it, I saved it." And he was right. However, they decided since he backed into the net and knocked it off, he gets a delay of game penalty. He wasn't happy about that either. Neither was Todd McClellan. But it's a 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that's alarming if you're a Kings fan, right? Theodore missed a few chances during that power play. I think it was his fourth shot that actually hit the net. Peterson made the save there. He made the needed saves during that, and the Kings survived that 5-on-3. And Jeff Carter, the first one out of the box, I thought he did a good job of helping to kill off the remaining 30 seconds. Vegas was in control, though, after that power play. Carter rushed one in on Fleury while Vegas was kind of in control, but Fleury makes the save on that. At 8 minutes, this really started to look like a Vegas comeback. This is your standard Vegas game. They're down, and then all of a sudden they're not, right? So Smith was, and I've seen this before. Velarde had a break, Fleury saved, and then the puck goes the other way, and Smith was denied at the other end. So good back and forth, both teams with fast breaks in this third period, as the game starts to open up with Vegas looking for 2 goals. Peterson absolutely robbed Cody Glass shortly after that. On the next play, Ryan Reeves was robbed as well. So Peterson, equal opportunity, robbing a lot of the Vegas Golden Knights today. The Kings, I felt, needed to get the control back. They had lost control of this game completely. Vegas had them running around in their own zone, was hemming them down. There were icings going on. This was your standard Vegas is coming back scenario. Then there's a crossbar for Riley Smith as the Kings were struggling with Vegas's speed, the cycle, the puck control that Vegas was showing. The Kings were completely overwhelmed. And then Nosek gets a goal from Kolasar at 16:33, and it was the result of a Kings turnover. So puck pressure, skill, and Nosek, it went in off of his body. They reviewed it, but he didn't intentionally direct it in off of his hand or anything. It wasn't gloved into the net, so it counts. And you could kind of feel like so this is where the game's turning. And then I was just waiting for the goalie pull, but it didn't happen. And for the Kings, Carter, who had a very good game up until this point, gets a nice quiet pass from Athanasiou. Athanasiou kind of throwing it ahead of him like, there you go. Carter goes in on the break, and he gets the goal at 17:28. And watching the Kings announcers on this, they lost it. I think, and I don't have any way to know this, the Kings announcers saw this third period and said, we're going to blow it, aren't we? And that was the feeling I got from that. And, seeing how the Kings have had trouble with Vegas this year, makes sense that you'd start to feel that. That goal, though, and it was not an empty netter. I keep wanting to say empty netter because it's a late goal, but it wasn't. That goal was really nice. They did pull the goalie with 2:10 left. Moore tries to hit the empty net. It goes wide. It was icing, which is noteworthy only because, again, it's Vegas. You expect the Vegas comeback. With 54.1 seconds left, Vegas calls the timeout. They are unable to get a goal to bring this any closer. They lose 3-1 in LA. The Kings go to 13-11-6. Remember, they are trying to chase down the St. Louis Blues. A win over Vegas is big. Now, for St. Louis, I think their next game is against Vegas. So now they become Vegas fans in the next one. Vegas 21-7-1. And again, if Vegas can get to a 60-minute game, I think that's the key problem right now for Vegas. They've had a lot of wins, a lot of success. They need that 60-minute game. LA outshot them in the first and second. 10-8 in the first, 14-10 in the second. And then Vegas outshot them 24-7 in the third. It was men against boys in that third period. Final shots, 42-31 for Vegas. Power plays, Vegas 0 for 4. Huge part of the story. Cal Peterson, fantastic. The Kings went 1 for 2. Marc-Andre Fleury, 28 saves on 31 shots. He was very good, but Peterson was better. 41 saves on 42 shots. Cal Peterson. I have sang that goalie's praises for years, and I still do. And yeah, that was a big win for the Kings because, again, it keeps them in the hunt for perhaps that number 4 spot in the division. And again, if Vegas can get a 60-minute game going, I don't think anybody in their division can stop them. But it is an issue that they need to work on, is that consistent ability to control the game that we've seen from, I would say, Tampa is better capable of doing that for a full 60. Carolina's shown they can do, and for Vegas, it's that one thing that I think they need to work on is that full 60 minutes. And then they might be unstoppable in the West. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, just tapping upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.